This is Jonathan Agnew here for Pro Boxing fans. Delighted to be joined by Johnny Fisher. The Romford Bull is his nickname. Soon to turn over. Johnny, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks, John. Yeah, we've just done a bit of training today. I'm sparring tomorrow, so just resting up, ready for sparring.
Yeah. For those that don't know, obviously heavyweight about to turn over. Just talk to me first of all your roots into boxing.
Yeah, well, I've already turned over. I turned over with Sam Jones, SJM Boxing.
Yeah.
We haven't made our pro debut yet. That's going to be later in the year. But I came into boxing. I've been boxing since I was young, 6 or 7, and Ongar ABC, Brentwood ABC, lots of local clubs. Fought when I was young as well. But recently, at university time, I was playing rugby when I was there at Exeter. And like second year, third year, I started boxing again properly. Started sparring with Joyce and Dave Allen, and from there made some good connections with Sam, and here we are now, ready to make a pro debut soon.
What was your amateur career like?
Yeah, well, I had 4 senior fights. That's all I had, and then before that, I had 6 junior fights. When that was 2014 and before, but I became London champion. I got to the quarterfinals of the nationals as a junior, and then my fights as a senior, 3 round 1 knockouts. So I was happy with that. It was explosive, but I know I've got to carry it over into the professional ranks now, and I've got a good trainer in Mark Tibbs, and he'll refine and hone them skills in for me.
Yeah, I've seen you've joined up with Mark Tibbs, one of the best trainers in England. Just talking about sort of your amateur career, was there any thought of staying in the amateur ranks? Why the move now to the professional game?
Yeah, well, it's partly Sam offered me the opportunity, and I thought, right, it's make or break time now, because within the context of the pandemic as well, there was no chance of me really getting a job. Well, I could have got a job, but it'd be very difficult to look for one in this sort of stage. This is the point in my life now. Third year of uni just finished. I've either got to get a job and continue the amateur career, or I can take an opportunity like what Sam gave me and really go for it. And combine that with the fact there's no amateur championships now until January at least next year, probably even later. I thought sometimes there's no perfect time, but there's always a right time, and now was the right time to go with Sam and with Mark Tibbs as my trainer. I think I've got a good formula for getting to where I want to be, near the top.
So when you're doing your degree, which I think I've read was in history,
Yes.
were you always planning to become a boxer, or was it just something you hoped to take off? What was it? What was the priority between sort of your degree and boxing?
To be honest, I've managed both of them pretty well, but I think I've done it the right way around in terms of getting a degree, because now I can really focus on doing the boxing. But it always was in the back of my mind. I've always loved boxing, always done it since I was young, and my dream was to be a professional boxer, and now it's coming into reality. But I know my mum and dad always told me, and I know myself, that an education is very important, and for me to get that history degree and have that all behind me now in the bank, that's going to help me in my career, because I can just fully focus on the boxing now.
You say you always wanted to be a boxer. Were there any heavyweights guys you used to watch when you were growing up?
Yeah, Lennox Lewis, one of my favourites, and Vitaly Klitschko is another one. But I remember always watching when I was young. There was a DVD, I don't know if you know about it, called Champions Forever. And it was adult fighters on it: Ken Norton, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, all round the table, Larry Holmes talking, and then it just go back to their highlights and their great fights. I used to watch that a lot when I was young, and when you look at guys like that, that's the legends of the sport, and that always inspires you.
Yeah, no doubt. As you said, you started sparring. Well, you sparred Joyce, Dave Allen. I think something that S-Jam released with Dave Allen was giving you a lot of compliments. When did you spar those guys, and how did you find it?
So I sparred Dave. I think this is just when I was beginning. So I had a fight in November time, 2018, and then I think it was March, April time next year, I sparred my first pro, and it was Dave Allen. And because of my university commitments, I was playing rugby as well at the time. So I hadn't sparred in about 2-3 months. So we went down to 12-by-3 in Paddington and done 6 rounds on the bounce. And that was a really good, tough experience. I gave a good account of myself, but it was really good to go just before Dave's fight with Lucas Brown as well. So he was in good shape. And for me to share the ring with him, it was physical, it was a good spar. And that was a brilliant experience for me. And that's when I got a bit more of a bug for it as well.
What did you learn sort of the most from being in the ring with Dave?
he controls his breathing really, really well. So although he might be puffing, he won't show it, and it's really good to see someone who can control their movements and not waste energy too much bouncing around. It's all very methodical, and his breathing's part of that as well. And he was teaching me, saying you've got to control your breathing a bit more, because if someone sees you breathing hard and heavy, they'll see that as a means to attack and go forward. But picking up little things like that, I've done a lot of that with Joe as well, picking up different tricks of the trade, and it was good to learn off them both.
You're obviously about to turn pro. Why did you decide to join Sam Jones and Adam Morley at SJAM?
I know Sam for a couple of years really before we started discussing it, sparring with Joe here and there, and then he gave me the opportunity to go to Las Vegas, and I was sitting in the uni at the time in the library, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this, and I had to keep it under wraps for a good few weeks. I was really struggling to, and when I was out there and I saw the setup they've got, and I met Adam as well, Adam Morley, I knew this is a great professional setup, and for me to be part of the stable with them few fighters in it, like Lerone Richards, Florian Marku, Joe Joyce, John Hedges, these top guys, it really that really appealed to me, and to know I'll get that extra care, especially in my building process at the beginning to get to where I want to be. I think it's great that I've got that management team behind me, because I trust them, they're genuine guys, and they'll help me get to the top.
Yeah, I spoke to Sam a few months ago, and he said to me about when people join SJAM, he doesn't want a massive stable, and you have to have that certain something that that makes him want to sign you, basically. So I guess it's quite a big compliment as well to yourself that he signed you.
Definitely, brilliant. It's brilliant for him to sign me, because I know he's got a lot of people wanting to sign with him, and for him to consider me was an honour. So when he gave me the opportunity, I knew it was the right choice for me to make, to go with him.
Also, the way sort of he's guided Joe's career. I know obviously Joe initially started off with David Hay, but he's got him in the position with this big Daniel Dubois fight. Is that something you also look at? How, I don't know if you want to be the same, but that way Sam and Adam have guided Joe's career, sort of being fast tracked and taken some big fights early on.
Yeah. Well, I know for my career it might be a bit different to Joe, because I know I haven't got that amateur experience. He's obviously a prolific amateur. In my opinion, won the gold medal at the Rio Olympics. But for me, I know I've got the tools to get there, and Sam believes me, and he's seen me with my power, with my solid jab, and my good credentials in the ring. I know I can get to the top, but we're also mature enough to understand that it's going to take a little bit of time to build, and it's going to take time with Mark learning my trade and refining my skills, and the big fights will come, but it takes that little bit of building at the beginning.
The Romford Bull is your nickname. Does that give away much of your style?
I've always had that aggressive side in me, and I always come to fight, and I always will be in exciting fights. I've never been in a boring fight. It's always come forward, but I can box on the back foot as well, and I've got the skills to do that. I'm a good boxer first, and then when I need to, I'm going to use my strength and use my physical skills. But with Mark, he's going to teach me how to refine them skills and just sharpen up. And a few weeks, even a few months, even a few weeks with Mark, I know I'm gonna progress. I've already seen it in this little 2-week period already.
How did it come about you joining Mark Tibbs?
So Sam rang me and said Mark Tibbs is local to you, and I knew Mark from before, not in depth, but he lives near me. He's around my sort of area, and I know he's a great trainer, and obviously I know his dad's a legendary trainer as well. And Sam said, literally, his gym's 15 minutes from where you live. Why don't you give it a go? And we just sort of gelled from there. I went down there beginning of last week, and Mark said, I've got a lot of potential. I'm promising, and when you're with him, you just feel comfortable. You feel guided by him. He's a terrific trainer. So it's going well so far.
Obviously, he's got all that pedigree as well. Training Dillian White. I know he's not with him now, but he was, and he got into the position almost on the verge of a world title. Speaks for itself.
He was unbeaten under Mark Tibbs, so that's a good offering for me, and that's a good indicator to me that he's a good heavyweight trainer. But also, what's good about Mark as well, he's had that amateur experience and been in the ring himself. He's had over 90 amateur fights, and he's had a good pro career, so he knows and he can empathise with where a professional boxer is and how it feels in there. So you're in good, solid hands with him.
You mentioned his dad, of course, legendary trainer Jimmy Tibbs. Has he given you any advice? Have you seen him down the gym at all?
I haven't met him yet, but I know him because where we live, we're originally from the East End of London in Stepney, so we know, my family knows his family, and people know he's a well-respected man, and revere him as a respectable man. So we know what he can do. We know where he's been and the journeys he's been on. So in Mark as well, that obviously carries over, and he's from good stock, and that's really a good thing for us.
I mean, also, I mean, not only have you sort of sparred top guys and Joe Joyce, Dave Allen, training with Mark Tibbs, I saw you also on the pads with Ismail Salah out in Vegas. What was that like?
That was unbelievable, because it's just surreal going from being at university a week or so before, doing my university work, trying to pass assessments, and then to me to be out in Las Vegas training alongside Joe and just picking things up off of him and training with that salsa music. It was a completely different style to what you get over here in England, and it loosened me up. And the thing about that camp, we had to come home early, but I was just getting into a good rhythm with Ismail Salas as well. So 3-4 weeks we was there, and by the end of that, I was starting to feel the fitness come. I was starting to feel like I'm getting into a rhythm, and we had to come home because of the pandemic, obviously. But it was a great experience, a once in a lifetime opportunity, you could say, to train with Ismail Salas, who's trained so many good fighters in the past.
How did you do in your degree in the end?
Yeah, I got a 2-1, so I was really pleased with that, because in the last term I wasn't hardly there, because I was going back to train, and then obviously to go to Vegas. I wrote my dissertation actually at 4 a.m. till 6 a.m. every night, because I was helping my dad with work during lockdown. So it was really hard for me to get it done, but I'm glad I got it done, and I got the grades that I needed to progress if I want to go into the city and to the corporate world afterwards. So I'm really pleased with that achievement to get that.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of promotional team, S-Jam, the stable's kind of split. You've got sort of John Hedges with Matcham, you've got Joe, Larone, Cody,
Yeah.
etc. with Frank Warren. Have you received any offers or looking at any promoters at the moment?
Yeah, I've had 2 or 3 offers really. It's really exciting at the minute. I'll be able to announce who I'm with on Monday, but I'm really happy with it, and I can't say anything yet, but I'm over the moon, and I'm looking forward to working with them.
Okay, well, look forward to that on Monday.
Yeah.
Johnny, before we go, I do just want to touch on your managerial stablemate, I guess, Joe Joyce. You're out there in Vegas sparring him. It looks like the Daniel Dubois fight might happen now in November. Are you going to be, number one, helping him? And secondly, you must be backing him to beat Dubois.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if Sam says you need to go and help sparring with Joe, I'll happily do it, and I will do it every single day of the week if they ask me to. But I don't know what Joe's plans are yet. He's got his own sparring as well, so whenever they need to call me, I'll get involved. But I'm backing him all the way. I know Daniel's a dangerous fighter. He's proven his punch power, but I see a lot of promise in Joe, and his experience and his engine, his work rate. He's deceptively. People underestimate Joe. I don't see why, because I've seen him firsthand. He's very powerful, and he's not as slow as people make him out to be. He's got tremendous punch power, and it'll be good to see how Daniel takes his punch power as well. So with Joe's engine, his ability to keep powering through, and his immense experience, I'm backing Joe to win. But it's always going to be a dangerous affair when you're fighting someone like Daniel Dubois. And I respect to both fighters for putting it on the line in a great fight, which all the fans are really looking forward to.
Yeah, just on that sparring with Joe, that must just be relentless, because he just doesn't stop coming forward.
Yeah, it's really good. It really toughened me up sparring with him, and I'm similar in some. I can fight like that as well. So we always meet in the middle of the ring and have a good spar and a good war. So it's exciting to watch, and it's even more exciting to be fighting sparring someone like Joe. It's always exciting. There's never a dull spar with me and Joe.
Yeah, I can imagine. And last kind of thing. So you obviously announced the promoter on Monday. Not sure if this video will be out by then, but if it is, when do you sort of anticipate your debut? In the next few months or so?
Yeah, so hopefully announcing Monday. It's early next week. We're hoping for Monday it will be announced, but it will definitely be debut by the end of the year. So winter time, November, December. That gives me enough time to gel with Mark, and we'll get on the road to getting to the top. But it's gonna be a good, fun journey. I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'll get the skills as I go, and get to the top where I need to be.
And finally, what's your social media handles?
Yeah, my social media handles on Instagram is Johnny Fisher 1, On Twitter, it's Johnny Fisher Box. And I'll just give a shout out to my great sponsors who sponsored me from day one: MKA Recruit, Maitland Kensington, John Emery, and Gal Birdie. They've really helped me out, and they'll continue to support me. And they're a great firm. So go and have a look at their Instagram, MKA Recruit.
Great stuff, Johnny Fisher. Appreciate your time, man. Look forward to hearing who you sign with in your professional debut.
Thanks very much for having me, John, and I'll speak to you soon. Have a good weekend.
And you. Cheers, mate.